Right, let's talk about Haas. Haas, arguably the most improved team in 2024. Last year in 2023, Haas finished bottom of the Constructors Championship. This year they finished 7th and only just behind Alpine, who of course had that incredible final end to the racing season, which catapulted them up from 9th place up to 6th. I think Haas can feel real unlucky for getting 6th, for missing out on 6th place overall in the Constructors Championship. They had an excellent season this season overall. Komatsu has done a brilliant job with that team operationally, with the drivers, fantastic. The team tactics they've played at times as well has made a real big difference. K-Mag very much playing a supporting role to Nico Hulkenberg at times, and that has bore fruit in races such as Miami and Saudi Arabia as well. Controversially in Miami, of course, I'm not going to get away from that. Some people would say it's wrong or whatever, but you can't knock it because it worked in that sense. If you're a Haas fan, you'll be very happy with what happened there. If you're a fan of Sir Lewis Hamilton, you'll be very annoyed at it, but that's how it went basically. Overall, like I said, much better this season overall. Some incredible results. I mean, Hulkenberg's results, I mean, he got back-to-back 6th places in Austria and Silverstone as well. Just so incredible at times. Really, really impressive for sure. I mean, and the end of the season as well. The end of the season for Hulkenberg was nothing short of magnificent. 9th in Singapore, 8th in the USA, 9th in Mexico, disqualified in Sao Paulo, 8th overall in Las Vegas, a retirement in Qatar where he could well have got points if it hadn't been for the crash. But yeah, I can't remember if it was him to blame or somebody else with that one. But then 8th place in Abu Dhabi as well, and he only just missed out on that 6th place, just 7 points between them and Alpine in the end. So close yet so far, but Haas for me, arguably the most improved team in 2024. I'd say the most improved was probably McLaren personally, but Haas definitely a very impressive 2nd place overall in this regard. So for me, he was very impressive, was Hulkenberg. K-Mag, disappointing overall, nowhere near as consistent, and no surprise why he's been dropped. I'm going to group Ollie Bearman in this category as well, because he had 2 races for Haas and 1 for Ferrari, so I feel like he should be in the race, in his grades for Haas rather than Ferrari. But I'm going to take all of his 3 performances together, and I think overall you have to say he was impressive, getting points in Baku, coming in the last minute, getting points in Saudi Arabia, coming in the last minute as well. It was a bit disappointing in Brazil, but I think lack of experience there really did hurt him overall. Very difficult conditions as well. Never driven a Formula 1 car in the rain, no doubt, before that either. But overall, given the 3 performances, I'd say he was above average. If you take his Haas performances, I'd say he was about average. Disappointing in Brazil, great in Baku. So for me overall, Bearman gets a B for his cameo appearances for both Haas and Ferrari. At Haas, I'm going to give an A. I know that you might say that, oh, they've not been that impressive because they got into 7th place, but for me, they really were a massive upgrade on what they were last season, and I feel like Alpine were lucky to get that 6th place. I know you make your own look in Formula 1, but overall, if it wasn't for those 2 podiums, they would have been miles behind Haas, even with the impressive results of Pierre Gasly at the end of the season. Hulkenberg, for me, one of the performers of the season. I think it's a shame in a sense that he's going to drive for Sauber next year, because that's probably going to be the worst car on the grid. But, you know, in the Haas this season, he's been absolutely mesmeric at times. He's really, really outperformed that car, showing why, for my money, he is one of the best drivers on the grid in a midfield car. You know, a bit like a Perez, a bit like Sergio Perez, great in a midfield car, terrible in a front running car. He's never been in a front running car, of course. We'll never know probably whether he's got that in him. But K-Mag overall, D. I'm going to give him a D grade with this one, because I think he has underperformed overall this season, and he'll be the first to admit that, and I wish him all the best in his career with BMW in sports car next year. But yeah, moving on to the next team.